Alex Ansary here, March 31st, 2018. Got some artificial overcast, but we're still going to go out walking for just a few minutes and cover a few things. You know, I was thinking about psychic protection and researching things online. You know, being involved in the alternative or independent media. But really, it's bigger than that. Even when you're dealing with looking for spiritual answers, you need to protect your own psyche from disinformation. There's a part of us, you can call it a lower self. You can think about like, you know, an inner archon or devil that kind of leads us astray to ego and narcissism, especially with internet addiction, you know, with all those likes and dopamine, you know, and having networks of people that think just like us. So I see like schools of fish, like a shoal of fish, groups of humans that think just like each other and are in this matrix of sorts. So disinformation about a collective shift in consciousness. Oh, by 2012 we will be floating and gravity will change, time will change. You know, just think back to a lot of the people that I knew in Portland that scoffed a lot of my ideas because they were absolutely convinced that 2012 represented an ascension of sorts. And it's like we always have the opportunity to be growing spiritually, you know, but to develop these linear judgments. And so I've seen the damage that disinformation has caused, and I firmly believe that that comes from a weak psyche. And so whether we're talking about that, or whether we're talking about people that will fall for disinformation on the internet without, you know, as they're putting their cursor, you know, your cursor over the headline, and maybe it's on Facebook, don't you ever, once in a while, I know some of you do, get that feeling that there's something off about this website and just the sensational nature of the headline, whatever it's directed at. And it's like there could be genuine concerns. I've mentioned this in videos going back 5 years because you literally need to go back at least 5 years to see how long I've been covering it. It precedes the last election cycle. So there's evidence there that this is not partisan based or sourced. During the presidency of Barack Obama, there was a lot of disinformation in 2012 and 2013 that was about aliens intervening in a physical war between Russia's Putin and Barack Obama and the United States. And there were people that were sharing disinformation, conspiracy news, and I was seeing a greater link between fake conspiracy news and fake channel messages, and then other things that seem to be in this network. And I'm not here to attack or drop particular names, but I can go on just mentioning names and a network of individuals that are all echoing each other. That isn't evidence. That is not evidence that they all personally know each other. In my speculative view, though, on why she's talking to him and he's talking to her, and they're all sharing the same talking points, they're a herd. There's an element to what we are as humans, right? That's a herd. That's part of the hive mind. And there are some of us where we feel it's our job to step outside that herd. Now, if we find ourselves talking about similar things, seeing some of the same patterns, I think that's beautiful. But we should come to those awarenesses on our own. You know, it's one thing to go through a period and maybe you're reading some David Icke and you're waking up, maybe listening to Alex Jones in the early days or other individuals. And then there comes a time to where you no longer ask, who can we trust 100%? Or people used to ask me when they used to call into my live show in Portland, what are the solutions, Alex? Or there would be other memes. Gotta love memes these days. Just because it's a meme and a lot of people believe it doesn't make it true. Well, smart guy, you think there's a problem, you need to tell me what the solution is. Oh, please, why don't you protect your own psyche? That's not my responsibility to come up with a solution for all the world's people. My solution is to take control of the driving wheel of Alex's life. Does Alex want to be another cog in the machine, or is Alex going to spend his time here on planet Earth saying the things that need to be said, even if they're unpopular? I know people are going to be watching my videos, listening to my podcasts in the years ahead, and reading my books, plural. Okay, I'm only 38. Who knows what kind of things I'm going to accomplish in this lifetime? Who knows what you can accomplish? if you were to be motivated and say, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to do something positive with my YouTube channel. I'm going to help people. I'm going to shine the light on people being victimized, whether it be in Africa, the South, or the North. Let's not stop with the South. Let's look at what's going on with AFRICOM and China's involvement there, getting their peacekeeping exercises ready. Oh, maybe China could be sent to South Africa to restore peace. Ooh, what if that's the plan? Problem, reaction, solution. Oh, but I'm already on another topic. We need to protect our psyche. Affirmation for you during your next meditation. Deep breath. I shall fear no chemtrail. Or no droplings from Fukushima. Isotopes. Isotopes. What will be, will be. I was born. What can I do about it? How long will I live? Well, maybe I have a little control over that one. You know, there's a lot of spiritual mumbo-jumbo that's out there. I've been meaning to talk to you about it. You know, I believe that there is truth to the law of attraction. And there is disinformation. I don't think that Alex Ansary is as powerful enough as Adam in Portland might have thought. Alex, if you keep talking about this World War III scenario, you might make it happen. Now, honestly, and let me know down in the comment section, even for those of you that believe in the law of attraction, have you ever heard anything more ridiculous in your life? There's got to be a mathematics to the science of law of attraction. I just can't think, hey, maybe the Earth might be hit by an asteroid one day, and then thus for my thoughts to affect what happens to you. Why would Alex Ansary alone with his thoughts determine whether or not the nation's defenses are breached? That's ridiculous. If I'm talking about a possibility of people being put into concentration camps because of their name, because of a witch hunt for a popular enemy, how can my thoughts alone create that? How disrespectful. You see, a lot of people just want people to act like super courageous and, we're going to, because it feels good to be in that mindset. And I'm all about the, let's find something to be winning about. I'm going to work on that. But what we're going to do when it comes to conjuring up that energy and focus is direct that winning attitude to something real. It's not a Ron Paul campaign. I hate to tell you that. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I think I upset a few people by even asking, how are we going to move the liberty movement forward beyond 2012? I couldn't have foreseen this, but I knew that there was no liberty movement moving forward beyond that period. It would become incredibly co-opted where if there is any freedom-oriented in the true sense of the word, it's not going to be under the guise of liberty movement. It's not going to have a don't tread on me flag anymore behind it because of where we've seen this co-opt in the left-right paradigm. It will be something new, like a magnificent dish that you've never made before with a new combination of spices and thoughts and ideas and ingredients. Oh, Alex is speaking code. New World Order talk. And so when it comes to whether or not I'm going to continue watching a YouTuber, it's coming down to whether I feel that she's speaking truthfully, or if he is speaking truthfully, or if he is just spinning their wheels. They can go ahead and attack Alex Jones. I'm going to, or AMTV. You can go ahead and attack. But what's your truth, brother? What's that? I'm sorry? You're mad at Alex Jones because he won't just come out and just be an open white supremacist because you say you want that. I was watching one guy on YouTube saying, Alex is for the multicultural agenda. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Alex is in line with what you want. If you don't like him, it's for other reasons. But as far as that far-right element and him being a cover for something else, he's all down with that, bro. What are you upset for? Bro, you mad? I think some people just spend too much time on the internet, so their intuition isn't even there, that Alex is already playing that role. The reason he acts like a buffoon is that there's an agenda afoot to direct America into a more radical direction so China and Russia can put up video one day, right? News reels of unrest in America, and this group doing that to that group. And as the American system collapses more and more, and they show more clips of Alex Jones foaming at the mouth, threatening North Korea, saying Trump should strike China, and he's actually already done this. Well, saying that China's coming after InfoWars, but not really putting out truthful information about the Trump-China ties. So there are groups out there that are using the vehicle of white supremacy on the internet to demonize the American image abroad in a way that has never been done on such a grand scale. Okay, and in saying that, it doesn't mean that I or others are stepping on your boundaries, but that there are people on the internet that are there to lead people into a trap that I believe are directly connected with the FBI. And when you start finding out about the FBI being involved in some of these groups, whether it be jihadi groups or certain militia groups in the United States gone into a more extreme direction, that's bad for people that just want to be a part of a militia to defend their country, to defend their neighborhood from attack or other forces. And so, you need to know the difference, and I'm sure some of you do, some don't, between, lying low and having a local group of neighbors or things of that nature versus being a part of these national groups that are more political than ever, that are active and with the Bundys and down in Burns, Oregon. I believe these are federal operations. So, we talk about the nature of the false flag. I almost want to say that quietly. False flag. We're going to talk about the false flag. It's disinformation on the internet. It's government agents infiltrating off-grid communities, going into mosques, and trying to find people that are angry to rally them up, foreign countries, certain areas, white supremacists, militias. And so we can see this widespread across the board. And yet, Facebook has become something that many people have shown themselves to develop hardcore addictions to. And so they can think they're awake to the shadow government and be actually reading their news. They can come out and go conspiracy theory, with Jesse Ventura. Yeah, shake those boobies. And do some show on the underground tunnels. And I have a little bit of knowledge about this, and I'm going, this isn't really the government's main bug out location. This show is bunk. This is bullshit. This is infotainment. This is disinfotainment. And so when I saw that, and then saw the rise of RT, and then Alex Jones on RT, and they're propping up the pro-Russia element of the New World Order, but not showing how they're actually all linked together. That's when it was clear. And it really went into the next drive in 2009, and then the next level in 2015, 2016 with the election cycle. And then seeing even my own videos demonetized that are just discussing issues. Increasing. But yet you're not seeing honesty from many YouTubers about how we're all affected. Independent views, left views, right views. It's just about the small YouTuber being hit by the corporation, whatever their view might be. And so, people have a responsibility. If they would call this a movement, hey, we're all on the same side, we the people, then we the people have a responsibility to be able to fish out the truth. Okay, this article that's being shared, is it real or is it disinformation? Where are the other, contributing sources? Just developing a narrative that all the mainstream media and all mainstream media reporters are part of a conspiracy, fake news, but yet all these anonymous websites are real news. And it fits one narrative. That's insane. They can do this in multiple countries. People are brainwashing into thinking that this is just Democrat rhetoric because people are butthurt against the elections. But when you actually learn about Cambridge Analytics, they've been involved in multiple countries, in particular Kenya, in swaying elections. They're a tool of special interests, intelligence agencies, multiple governments, and no doubt that data that Cambridge Analytics has accrued is probably in the hands of special interests, foreign governments. And what about Cambridge Analytics being hacked with or without their knowledge? What about those leaving the door open? Hey boys, come on in. or those being given passwords and codes to go in and get that information. So we're at a point now to where whether something is considered real or fake news is something that someone determines based on, what their political bias is as a starting point. So if they have a political bias where one person is good and one person is bad, right, there could be a hidden hand that controls both candidates that might even be friends. And we could be talking about different nations during different periods. We don't just need to be talking about, or could be talking about, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. That's the idea that I'm trying to get across to you, the audience. The idea of dividing a society over disinformation, or over the idea that one candidate is one way and the other candidate is another way. One represents one group of people, one will represent the other group of people. The idea of that being a facade, and in many cases, those puppets like having tea together and laughing about how they're fooling the people, like this goes beyond Hillary Clinton. This goes beyond Donald Trump. So the very Illuminati, the very New World Order, the very one world government, the very elite, the very real deep state in the real sense of the word, as in shadow government. Well, before it was shadow government, then deep state became a buzzword. QAnon. Where's the next Q drop from Jeremy Corsi? And then it just got Mad Magazine with it. It's just become a joke. But ultimately, the shadow government itself has admitted through its publications that it would engage in disinformation. And there are some people that I believe also are disinformation artists of what we would call the archons or the spiritual parasites. Someone could have genetics that could be also connected with that which we call reptilians and not necessarily be evil. There could be people out there that are a part of certain bloodlines that may have been tampered with, and they could be good people. There are others, though, and I'm just going to tell you this, that are of various ethnicities that are on this planet that are acting like their reptilianism is activating. We're not just talking about the violence and the school shootings, the psychotic things that people are saying on social media, or using the internet as a weapon to target people that aren't really doing anything to anyone just because they have the time to do it. In this first world, hashtag first world problems. Wow, that person is really suffering. They don't have to worry about not getting bombed today. They don't have to worry about what they're going to eat today. They don't have to worry about where they're going to sleep today, but they're certainly worried about what someone's saying on the internet, more so than those people being harmed or the people that are actually doing the harm. Okay, so there's a certain level of almost consciousness hijacking that's coming with too much internet addiction. Now, I'm enjoying some of the videos that I'm watching at the moment, but I'm more responsible about what it is that I'm watching. I was on a website that sold self-defense items, because I'm looking for something in particular, not a firearm, but, something that would be very useful. And it's like they have a useful, non-lethal self-defense item, but it's like there was so much regarding bloodshed and military themes, because it was a military branded website that sold various items. And I felt ill looking at that website, and I felt ill looking at these modern expressions of the brass knuckles. It's just really ghetto, but self-defense is important. But when you look at what people are interested today, and just the worship of the skull and bones, violence, bloodshed. And it doesn't feel like a self-defense thing with a lot of these people. It feels absolutely offensive. And so information is used as a weapon. The martial arts are used as offensive by people that are learning in dojos. Now, the self-defense concept seems to be forgotten also on the national level. So the idea of premeditative movement or behavior, that just seems to be part of a collective psychosis. I would even call it a possession. So, these are the ages that we're in. This is the time that we're in. And I don't see this as going away. I think that we're going to see mass possessions of larger segments of the population by the 2020s. And some people will form up, group up, and they'll be targeting communities that they think Donald Trump hasn't been hard enough on. We're going to see Donald Trump hasn't fulfilled his campaign promises. What are these people still doing here? and they're going to take action into their own hands. And they are going to be aided by that very technological system, be it Facebook or other websites, that will not, in reality and truth, be censored. But in some cases, they do censor to a certain degree, right? Only to build up support for those groups. You actually do a little research into Alex Jones. You actually do a little research into the founder of the website, the Daily Stormer, and then you'll find out how many interviews that they've been given on the biggest shows and news programs that there are. That's how you build a movement, covertly as the system. You act like you're suppressing them. And you act in the form of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and you drop the name of Alex Jones before the world. And then CNN shows Alex Jones before the world as he's credited with the election, as they build that following, as they talk about the Daily Stormer and all these things that are being done. Those people that have those ideologies of the most extreme will now have the greatest ability than ever to connect, to group up, to build their own. And they talk about how they're being censored, and yet the biggest names that are out there that are purveyors of some of these ideas are bigger than ever. And many of them given their channels back. So we haven't even seen the worst of this. We haven't. We live in a world where people think they've identified what events are manufactured by the government and what events and shootings are real, right? Act of terror, oh, real, ban them all. Shooting down in Florida, staged. Las Vegas, staged. The other event, staged. Done by an Arab, well, see, millions got to go. We got to put them in the same spot and just poof. And if you look at how many comment sections are saying that, put them all in the same place and poof. Nazi Germany, regardless of what you believe about whether it happened or not, never had the technology that exists now. This is not over. It has just begun. So the question is, have you yet even scratched the surface of psychic protection with determining whether something is real or false? In the spiritual communities, right? Telling you, oh, hey, get down and boogie. It's the collective shift in consciousness. Get down and boogie. Or whether it's, Vladimir Putin is taking on the new world order. It's the bear, all organic food. Or whether it's somebody, they're coming to get you, Sarah. They're coming to get you, Sarah. Or Johnny. And then you look around and you go, well, it doesn't look like there's any mosques in my community yet. And you look around, I'm asking you, show me where the Syrians are. They obviously didn't dump as many as they wanted you to think in those 2015 or 2016 reports, where it was just going to be a massive flooding of your community, and they would be everywhere. And then you fast forward to the year 2018, and it's you know what? It's a little bit different of a reality. And there's that Bill Hicks bit. It's like you're watching CNN. It's like famine, terror, disasters. You walk outside. It's like it's like grasshoppers. I would find a way to get involved in independent journalism in your own way. Find out what it's like to actually interview someone, to research a story, to go down to the actual alleged place of occurrence, to try to YouTube something, to try to put down an actual case, make a documentary film, and then maybe find out, how do you source whether something is real? How do you copy paste a headline? First of all. Second of all, how do you determine whether that website called usnews.com or jewsnews. How do you start adopting common sense principles to start understanding if certain websites may be 100% false, that you can tell from the way the headline is written, whether or not there are other headlines, if it's the only source, and if there's something off about the actual URL. And do you know if that URL of that website, like Jews News, like at some point common sense has got to enter the picture. But if you don't realize that some of these, by their actual websites and misspellings of their URLs, are disinformation sites, right? When that article says that a Chinese man was caught with 300 castrated penises, like worldnews.us doesn't mean it's a real news headline. So if something like that actually happened by accusing every mainstream media of covering up the headline, if they're not writing about it, boy, that's psycho. once they got you to that point where they think that every journalist that is in the mainstream media is in a pedogate conspiracy to take your kids and put a hijima on, I mean, I don't know that these videos can be helpful. It's like, I guess, thank you for watching. Hi. But, yeah, hopefully this got people thinking just a little bit.